Shalom, beloved family. It's your girl Sophia Spiritualite, and we are here for part two of the Secret Laws of America, the Hammurabi Code of Babylon. In part one, we did statutes 1 through 50. We're going to pick up here with statute 51. So, statute 51. If he has not money to return the sesame according to its market price for the money and its interest which he took from the merchant according to the standard fixed by the king, he shall give to the merchant. Again, this whole interest thing, that the standard is set by the government. Statute 52. If the cultivator has not caused corn or sesame to grow in the field, he shall not alter his bonds. Statute 53. If a man has neglected to strengthen his bank of the canal and has not strengthened his bank, a breach has opened up itself in his bank, and the waters have carried away the meadow, the man in whose bank the breach has been opened shall render back the corn which has caused to be lost. Basically, you're responsible for your property. Statute 54. Again, which is kind of crazy because if it's by the hand of the Most High, I mean, how can you, if your person, your neighbor is a terrible person and they get what they deserve because they cause somebody harm, and this goes back to the whole magic thing, right? Okay, statute 54. If he is not able to render back the corn, one shall give him and his goods for money, and the people of the meadow whose corn the water has carried away shall share it. Statute 55. If a man has opened his runnel to water and has neglected it, and the field of his neighbor the waters have carried away, he shall pay corn like his neighbor. Statute 56. If a man has opened the waters and the plants of the field of his neighbor the waters have carried away, he shall pay 10 gur of corn per gan. Statute 57. If a shepherd has caused the sheep to feed on the green corn and has not come to an agreement with the owner of the field, without the consent of the owner of the field, has made the sheep of feed off the field, the owner shall reap his fields. The shepherd with who, without consent of the owner of the field, has fed off the field with the sheep, shall give over and above 20 gur of corn per gan to the owner of the field. Statute 58. If from the time that the sheep have gone up from the meadow and the whole flock has passed through the gate, the shepherd has laid his sheep on the field and has caused the sheep to feed on the field, the shepherd who has made them feed off the field, one shall watch, and harvest time he shall measure out 60 gur of corn per gan to the owner of the field. And if you're wondering all this stuff about corn, please go back and look at Brother Curry Moo, a house video about the corn mother and all of that. Corn is the only crop basically in the world that cannot be grown without cultivation. Like you can't just drop some corn seeds and they grow. No, you have to actually cultivate them. So this makes a lot of his research make sense too. So go back and check out those videos on his page, okay? Statute 59. If a man, without the consent of the owner of the orchard, has cut down a tree in a man's orchard, he shall pay half a mina of silver. Statute 60. If a man has given a field to a gardener to plant a garden, and the gardener has planted the garden, 4 years he shall rear the garden. In the fifth of year, the owner of the garden and the gardener shall share equally. The owner of the garden shall cut off his share and take it. Statute 61. If the gardener has not included all the field of the planting, has left a waste place, he shall set the waste place in the share which he takes. Statute 62. If the field which has been given him to plant he has not planted as a garden, if it was corn land, the gardener shall measure out corn to the owner of the field, like its neighbor, as produce of the field for the years that are neglected, and he shall return do the work ordered he shall do the work ordered on the field and return to the owner of the field. Golly. Statute 63. If the field was unreclaimed land, he shall do the ordered work on the field and return it to the owner of the field and measure out 10 gur of corn per gan for each year. Statute 64. If a man has given his garden to a gardener to farm, and the gardener, as long as he holds the garden, shall give the owner of the garden two-thirds, dang, two-thirds from the produce of the garden, he himself shall take one-third. Golly, so that's what our taxes, our system is. They take two-thirds of your money and give you one-third to do whatever you want to do with. You know how? Statute 65. If the gardener does not farm the garden and has diminished the yield, he shall measure out the yield of the garden like its neighbor. Okay, so you have 35 sections basically that were lost here concerning the rights and duties of gardeners. The whole regulations concerning houses let to tenants, and the relationship of merchants to his agents, of course, which continue on the obverse of the monument. See page 58. So we're going to come back to it. Shield estimates the lost portion is 35 segments, and the following will commence with section 100. All right, so um, I don't. Let's see how this goes. We're just going to keep going. Section 100. The interest of the money, of course, right back with the interest again, y'all. The interest of the money, as much as he took, he shall write down, and when he was numbered his days, he shall answer his merchant. All right, statute 101. So we're just gonna probably go to 150. We've been reading for about 7 minutes. Yeah, probably to 150. Okay. If were he gone, he has not seen prosperity. He shall make up and return to the money he took, and the agent shall give to the merchant. Statute 102. If a merchant has given to the agent money as a favor, and where he has gone he has seen loss, the full amount of money he shall return to the merchant. Statute 103. If while he goes on his journey the enemy has made him quit whatever he was carrying, the agent shall swear by the name of God and shall go free. Statute 104. If the merchant has given to the agent corn, wool, oil, or any sort of goods to traffic with, the agent shall write down the price and hand over to the merchant. The agent shall take the sealed memorandum of the price which he shall give to the merchant. Statute 105. If the agent has forgotten and has not taken the sealed memorandum of the money he has given to the merchant, the money that is not sealed for, he shall not put his accounts. Meaning, if you don't know how much you owe, you can't actually deposit it, which is basically what they do to us now. Statute 106. If an agent has taken money from a merchant and his merchant has disputed with him, that merchant shall put the agent to account before God and witnesses concerning the money taken, and the agent shall give to the merchant the money as much as he has taken threefold. So you're getting taxed on it, penalized. Statute 107. If a merchant has wronged an agent and the agent has returned to his merchant whatever the merchant gave him, the merchant has disputed with the agent as to what the agent gave him, that agent shall put the merchant on to account before God and witnesses, and the merchant shall and the merchant, because he disputed the agent, shall give the agent whatever he has taken sixfold. If a wine merchant has not received corn as the price of drink, has received silver by the great stone, and has made the price of drink less than the price of corn, that wine merchant shall put her to account, and throw her into the water. Wine merchants were women. If a wine merchant has now everything else is he, right? And then we get to wine is her. Just pointing that out. If a wine merchant has collected a riotous assembly in her house and has not seized the rioters and driven them to the palace, that wine merchant shall be put to death. Wow. If a votary, a lady who is not living up to the covenant, has opened a wine shop or has entered a wine shop for drink, that woman shall burn her. Golly. If a statute 111, if a wine merchant has given 60 ka of best beer at harvest time for thirst, she shall take 50 ka of corn. Statute 112. If a man stays away on a journey and has given silver, gold, precious stones, or treasures of his hand to a man, has caused him to take them for transport, and that man, whatever was for transport, where he has transported, has not given and has not taken to himself the owner of the transported object, that man concerning whatever he had to transport, and gave not, shall put him to account. And that man shall give to the owner of the transported object fivefold of whatever was given him. Wow. Statute 113. If a man has corn or money upon a man, and without consent of the owner of the corn has taken from the heap or from the store, that man for taking of the corn without consent of the owner, the corn from the heap or from the store, one shall put him to account, and he shall return the corn as much as he has taken, and shall lose all that he gave, whatever it may be. Statute 115. If a man has not corn or money upon a man, and levies a distraint, for every single distraint he shall pay one third of a mina. Statute 115. If a man has corn or money upon a man, and has levied a distraint, and the distress in the house of his distrainer dies a natural death, that case has no penalty. Statute 116. If the distress has died in the house of his distrainer, blows, or of want, so you can't kill him and you can't starve him, the owner of the distress shall put his merchant to account, and if he be the son of a free man that has died, his son one shall kill. If the slave of a free man, he shall pay one third of a mina of silver, and he shall lose all that he gave, whatever it may be. Statute 117. If a debt has seized him, and he has given his wife, his son, his daughter for the money, or has handed over to work off the debt for 3 years, they shall work in the house of their buyer or exploiter. In the fourth year, he shall fix their liberty. Statute 118. If he has handed over a manservant or a maidservant to work off a debt, and the merchant shall remove and sell them for money, no one can object. Statute 119. If a debt has seized a man and he had, so basically, let me just comment on that, right? They're basically selling your family into slavery to cover your debts. You cannot sell your house. And if you have nothing else but your house and your field and your garden, you have to sell your family. Do you know how insane that is? Do you know what that is, to be in debt for something that they put you in debt for, and you have to sell your wife, your child? Y'all, let me just have a sip of tea. Maybe that will calm me down a little bit, because I feel like I'm about to go off. All right, I feel a little bit better. Let's continue to move. Statute 119. If a debt has seized a man, and he has handed over the money, a maidservant who has borne him children, the money the merchant paid him, the owner of the maid shall pay, and he shall ransom his maid. Statute 120. If a man has heaped up his corn in a heap in the house of a man, and in the granary of a disaster has taken place, or the owner of the house has opened up the granary and taken the corn, or has disputed as to the total amount of the corn that was heaped up in his house, the owner of the corn shall recount his corn before God. The owner of the house shall make up and return the corn which he took, and shall give to the owner of the corn. Statute 121. If a man has heaped up corn in the house of a man, he shall give his as the price of storage 5 of corn per gur, or of corn per annum. Statute 122. If a man shall give silver, gold, or anything whatever to a man on deposit, all whatever he shall give, he shall show to the witnesses and fix bonds, and shall give on deposit. Statute 123. If without witnesses and bonds he has given on deposit, and where he has deposited they keep disputing him, this case has no remedy. So you have to have witnesses when you go to deposit money. These people are evil. Statute 124. If a man, these Ronanites, let's call them right, these Ronanites are evil. Statute 124. If a man has given silver or anything whatever to a man on deposit before witnesses and has disputed with him, one shall put that man to account, and whatever he has disputed, he shall make up and shall give. Statute 125. If a man has given anything on deposit, and where he gave it either by housebreaking or by rebellion, something of this has been lost, along with something of the owner of the owner of the house who has defaulted, all that was given on him on deposit and has been lost, he shall make good and render to the owner of the goods. The owner of the house shall seek out whatever of his is lost and take it from the thief. So you have to go and find the stuff that the thief stole. How you supposed to, anyway, statute 126. If a man has lost nothing of his, but has said that something of his is lost, has exaggerated his loss, since nothing of his is lost, his loss shall he shall recount before God, and whatever he has claimed he shall make up and give to his loss. Statute 127. If a man has caused a finger to be pointed against a votary or a man's wife, and has not justified himself, that man they shall throw down before the judge and brand his forehead. So you mean to tell me, I just thought about something. You mean to tell me the person who actually did the voting in this community was the woman? Doesn't seem like the man did the voting because they called the votary the wife. Anyway, that's just another thought. Statute 128. So this whole women's suffrage thing was trash because literally women did all the voting before. Men were probably not allowed to vote, which would probably solve a whole lot of problems. All right, statute 128. I mean, if we had sane women voting, righteous women voting, but that's neither here nor there. Section 128. If a man has married a wife and has not laid down her bonds, that woman is no wife. If you ain't paid for that lady ain't yours, honey. Statute 129. If the wife of a man has been caught lying with another male, one shall bind them and throw them into the waters. If the owner of the wife should save his wife, or the king would save his servant, he may. Statute 130. If a man has forced the wife of a man who has not known the male and is dwelling in the house of her father and has lain her bosom and one has caught him, that man shall be killed and the woman herself shall go free. Golly. Statute 131. If the wife of a man, her husband, has accused her, and she has not been caught lying with another male, she shall swear by God and shall return to her house. Statute 132. If the wife of a man, on account of another male, has had the finger pointed at her and has not been caught lying with another male, for her husband he shall plunge into the holy river. Yikes. Statute 133. If a man has taken captive in his house there is maintenance, his wife has gone out from her house and entered into the house of another, because that woman has not guarded her body and has entered into the house of another, one shall put that woman to account and throw her into the waters. Y'all, this is ridiculous. Statute 134. If a man has taken captive in his house there is no maintenance, and his wife has entered into the house of another, that woman has no blame. Statute 135. If a man has been taken captive and his and in his house there is no maintenance before her, his wife has entered into the house of another and has borne children, afterwards her husband has regained his city, that woman shall return to her bridegroom, and the children go after their father. Wow. Statute 136. If a man has left his city and fled after him, his wife entered into the house of another, if that man shall return and has seized his wife because he hated his city and fled, and the wife of the truant shall not return to her husband. Truant, don't they give our kids truancy? Don't they have truancy officers? This doesn't refer to no kids not going to school unless the school is your husband. Are the kids the wife to the school? Why do we have truancy? You're a truant if you leave your relationship, your covenant. So you mean to tell me if the kids don't show up to school, that's truancy? Just something to think about. We All right, let's keep going. Statute 137. If a man has set his face to put away his concubine who has borne him children, or his wife who has granted him children, to that woman he shall return her marriage portion and shall give her unused fruit of the field, garden, and goods, and shall bring up her children from the time that her children are grown up, from whatever is given her children, they shall give her a share let of like that of one son, and she shall marry the husband of her choice. Meaning you, uh, anyway, that's convoluted. I'm not going to try and bottom line that, but it just has to do with children and families and who can marry who and what the rules are, right? Just a bunch of nonsense. Statute 138. If a man has put away his bride who has not borne him children, he shall give her money as much as her dowry, and shall pay her the marriage portion which she bought from her father's house, and shall put her away. Statute 139. If there was no dowry, he shall give her 1 mina of silver for a divorce. Statute 140. If he is a poor man, he shall give her 1/3 of a mina of silver. So that's alimony. Statute 141. If the wife of a man who is living in the house of her husband has set her face to go out and has acted the fool and has wasted her house and belittled her husband, one shall put her to account. And if her husband say, I put her away, he shall put her away, and she shall go her way. He shall not give her anything for her divorce. If her husband has not said, I put her away, her husband shall marry another woman. That woman has as a maidservant shall dwell in the house of her husband. Boy, these people are complicated, and my candle up there just flashed. I heard it all the way over here. All right, next, Statute 142, and we're going to stop at 150. If a woman hates her husband and has said, Thou shalt not possess me, one shall inquire into her past what is her lack, and if she has been economical and has no vice, and her husband has gone out and greatly belittled her, that woman has no blame. She shall take her marriage portion and go off to her father's house. Statute 143. If she has not been economical, a goer about, has wasted her house, has belittled her husband, that woman shall throw her into the waters. Dang, statute 144. If a man has espoused a votary, and that votary has given a maid to her husband and has brought up children, that man has set his face to the concubine, one shall not countenance that man, he shall not take a concubine. Statute 145. If a man has espoused a votary, and she has not granted him children, and he has set his face to take a concubine, that man shall take a concubine, shall cause her to enter into his house. That concubine shall not put on an equality with the wife. Statute 146. If a man has espoused a votary, and she has given a maid to her husband, and she has borne children, afterwards that maid has made herself equal with the mistress, because she has borne children, and her mistress shall not sell her for money, she shall put a mark on her hand and count her among the maidservants. Statute 147. If she has not borne children, her mistress may sell her for money. Statute 148. If a man has married a wife and sickness has seized her, he shall set his face to marry a second wife. When he marry her, his wife, whom the sickness has seized, he shall not put her away. In the home she shall dwell, and as long as she lives, he shall sustain her. Statute 149. If that woman has not is not content to dwell in the house of her husband, he shall pay her marriage portion which she has brought from her father's house, and she shall go off. Statute 150. If a man to his wife has set aside field, garden, house, or goods, has left her a sealed deed, and after her husband, her children shall not dispute her, the mother after her to her children, whom she gives love shall give, to brothers she shall not give. All right, so we're going to just under 30 minutes, perfect. We're going to take a break and come back with a part 3 of this video where we're going to go from 150. Let's just take a look if it goes to 200. I thought I read somewhere that it goes to 200. We'll go past 200. How many does this thing have? All right, well, we'll do as many videos as it takes. We're already at 260. We're already at 2. Okay, here we go. We are 282 in this code. And so, and then we'll have to do the part that was that in that missing part. So, all right. So we've got a few more videos to go, y'all. We're going to knock out all of these, get these into the ley line that we know what they never wanted us to know, what laws they're operating under. And so all of these are null and void. That's the point you need to get from this. So, to the spirits who are here with us, you're invited to go in peace. To my beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace. And always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom.